Welcome to Captured Conversations, a Haley Phillips photography podcast. I am your host, Haley. And this is your co-host, Apollo. Oh, you see your belly. You good boy. Do you have anything to say? Hmm, interesting. He really wants to lick my face. You see good boy? Do you want your bone? No, you want me to rub your belly? One like on this video is one belly rub for Apollo. He's obviously a tortured soul who needs love. He's never been loved before. He's sporting his cute Christmas bandana today. It's got little presents and candy canes on it. I'll give you this back. I don't really want to hold that. And then I've got on, oh, you can't see it. My hair's in the way. I've got on my Christmas sweater. It's got two reindeer and a heart. I have had this since either. Hey, Apollo, that's not really appropriate to do on camera. Can we save it for later? Thanks, bud. Um, I've had this since I was like 13, and I'm 25. It's a little snug, like in the arms. It's been washed a bunch of times. Um, but yeah, I've had this for a really long time. I think I was that old. May have been early high school, but I'm pretty sure I got it for a Christmas concert, a band Christmas concert, because we didn't have to wear whatever was we were usually wearing if we got this. So I did. All right, so for today, let's see where we want to start. Okay, so we're going to start over on Reddit. So this is from Black Cat Sandwich. This is on r/wedding photography. Hello. What are you doing, baby? You got an itch? All right, so it's titled 35 millimeters stolen from camera bag during wedding. I think I had all of my film stolen at yesterday's wedding. I'm a wedding photographer that shoots around 12 to 20 rolls of film per event depending on what the day needs. I was shooting my final wedding of this season yesterday. Everything was going great and normal. I typically carry all my gear in one large backpack, very neat and organized. I've never had a problem with it before. When I get home from destination to destination, I find a safe place to keep it and usually leave it unzipped for quick and easy access. At the church, after the ceremony and after finishing family photo portraits, I went back, zipped up my bag without looking in it. When I got to my car, I went to swap out for some new rolls of film and immediately saw the whole compartment was empty. By this point, every single person had left for the reception. Even the church manager had locked it up. I immediately went into a panic cry. I called my husband, trying to walk through every scenario frantically. No film in sight. I thankfully had a few rolls on my body and a film for the ceremony, but the roll from getting ready was gone, along with 14 unexposed rolls. It made me feel so unwell. Once I gathered myself, I came to terms with the situation, got to the reception just in time, and the coordinator was kind enough to run to CVS to get me a few rolls of Fujifilm. We looked in all the places that I maybe could have lost it before the ceremony, continually gaslighting myself, but there was nothing, but nothing was found. I think we would have noticed if 14 rolls came pouring out of our bags. Being observant is our whole job. This made me feel crazy. Like, how or why? No good answer. Bottom line, I feel strongly that someone took the film out of my bag after the church ceremony while I was outside shooting. I've shot lots of weddings this way and traveled all over with this bag. I have never once lost a roll of film, let alone dozens at one time. I don't think there's really anything I can do, although I would give anything for one exposed roll back. My only suspect is one gift that arrived late, and I said to them just in time as they responded, better late than never, lol. Thanks for listening. I know you feel my pain. Has something like this ever happened to anyone before? Well, I'm sure it's happened to someone. Not me, thankfully. Um, I do sometimes wonder about stuff being stolen out of my bag during weddings. Um, I put a lot of trust in hundreds of strangers who aren't paying attention by just leaving my bag places. It would be so easy just to pick up a lens out of my bag and walk out with it. Pick up an extra camera out of my bag and walk out with it. Um, I've thought about ways to keep my gear more secure during weddings. If you have any ideas, definitely let me know. Um, let's see. This person, ex Redditor 81 says, look in the trash cans at the venue. Look in the big trash bins in the parking lot. Thief will usually discard unwanted items immediately so as to not be caught with them. Good luck. That's some good advice, probably. Um, Silver RMS 91 says, not getting SD stolen, but lost during a wedding day. One whole event was in one location, a beautiful villa owned by the couple. I usually remove my SD card for a full one. Full SD cards are usually stored in my battery pouch, which has small compartment for SD cards. Left compartment, full cards, right compartment, fresh cards. That's my workflow for years. During a wedding, I casually checked the left compartment. To my horror, I didn't find any cards inside. 164 gigabyte with getting ready, ceremony, and couples first photos. The villa is located on a hill with an immersed park. DJs and witnesses helped me search for the card while I kept shooting. They found it in the DJ set inside a cable cord, a coil. Like it popped out spring loaded. Sorry, whew, that scared me. He dropped his bow, and if you're only listening, that's what happened. Someone comments and says, not quite dead yet photo, like it popped out because it's spring loaded. I remember I had one camera. If I flicked it just right, it would shoot all the way out of the slot, but I never had that happen since. Dang, I never thought about my cards come shooting out if I accidentally hit them. I typically, oh, hi bud, does that feel good? I typically don't touch my cards. Once I start a wedding, I usually shoot the whole day. I'll put in both my cameras, um, is it 125, 124 gigabyte cards? Two in each camera. Both have backups. So like I'm shooting the same photo on both cards and both cameras. Um, and I shoot on primarily one camera all day, but I have the other one on me to take like a couple backup photos of everything. Um, everything like super important, i.e. mainly the ceremony. Um, I also have it on me in case like something weird happens. Are you leaving, bud? Are you just getting your bone? Nope. Bye. Time for him to head out. That was Apollo leaving, in case you're listening. Um, now he's shaking off if you just heard that. Um, but yeah, new fear unlocked. But yeah, I don't really touch my cards. Once I start, every now and then I've had to like switch out a card. A card has done something weird once to me in all my years of shooting. Um, but yeah. Oh my gosh, the anxiety. Evan R. Photo says, I am very sorry this happened to you. Whew, sorry. I'm very sorry this happened to you. Pastors and church ladies across several churches started warning us about leaving our bags in their rear pews several years ago. The chapel is always open, and they said, unfortunately, there are some people who have started taking advantage of this. And when people's attention were focused and the photographer and videographer's bags were being stolen, they specifically said some of their own congregation was guilty of this, and they had subsequently recovered some items. Granted, I primarily operate in a major city, but I only leave my bag near the front row now. I would talk to someone at the church. Someone may have opened it up immediately, realized it wasn't valuable, and tossed it on the grounds. I know of other situations where film photographers' rolls were stolen, but discarded nearby when the thief realized they were worthless. Yeah, I have definitely shot at weddings and left my bag in the back by the rear, like, row. Oh my gosh, that would be so horrible. Maybe I do need to start getting it in a better spot. Oh, that's real stressful. Maybe we need to brainstorm on this. Like, it'd be really cool if we had like some kind of lock on these bags. But like, you can still just pick the bag up and walk off with it. I don't know. When my husband comes with me, he usually watches my gear. Or not watches it, but he's kind of the gear manager. But you know. Cocoa Puffs 606 says sounds like someone wanted to sabotage the couple's wedding day. Stealing the film would be a good way to mess with them without causing a scene or them knowing exactly who did it. Yeah, I guess if somebody really hated them. I really hope that I don't know anybody that would do something crazy like that. Um, Brief Compilation 186 says, I would say there's cameras. Security cameras are everywhere. I can't imagine them not having cameras in 2024. I could see them not having cameras. For sure. I could see it. Um, but there may be some kind of like camera on like a street post or something that would catch somebody holding something on the way out or something, maybe. I don't know. I would definitely be having a panic attack though. Okay, someone asks OP a question. Weird Namek um says, I just have a hard time believing someone would go through your bag, avoid the expensive gear, and decide to steal rolls of film instead. Take another look. Maybe check your team's bag. Um, Evan R. Photo, the OP, says, I was not trying to get into details into my comments anywhere in this thread, but the church staff specifically mentioned that they help some less fortunate that generally look for cash or things like that. Think immediate needs, not gross value. While camera gear is valuable, it's also large and difficult to sell. It's mostly traceable. A soft bag in an equipment bag may contain cash, jewelry, cigarettes, or just food. Okay, maybe so. Um, to comment on that, Black Cat Sandwich says, I completely agree, which is why losing it makes it more sense, but also zero sense because I would never lose it. Um, Plus, we went back and forth and looked everywhere. Oh, sorry. No. What? Who is the OP on this? Black Cat Sandwich is the OP. So sorry. Evan R. Photo was just someone else who commented. Um, I guess they were just. Yeah, that was the person that said that something like this had happened to them. Or they had heard about people stealing stuff out of the back rows of pews. OP said, I completely agree, which is why I'm losing my mind, but it also makes zero sense because I would never lose it. Plus, we went back and looked everywhere. I'm more convinced someone stole it just because someone with thievery issues saw the film as a good thing to take, but nothing too consequential. I only had one other film camera in there, old school camera body and a flash, all old, nothing worth anything. Yeah, people saying take the cameras at the church. Someone's being a jerk. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I couldn't imagine that happening. I mean, it could happen. If you have ideas on how to keep gear safe during weddings, please let me know. Because, I mean, everyone I shoot with, typically we just ditch our gear somewhere. I usually try to put my stuff near the DJ during the reception. Um, just so like maybe it would be more intimidating for somebody to go up there. But I don't always. And sometimes DJs don't like that. I've had a few DJs tell me no. So I kind of stopped doing that. But oh my gosh, that's a lot. Okay, let's go find another thread. Let's see. Okay, so switching threads here. We are still on Reddit. We are currently on r/photography. Um, let's see what they're saying over here. So, Rivy Bird says, got into a massive argument regarding photography in public spaces. Was I wrong? Okay, so this is basically what happened. I live in Westchester County, New York, and often visit Fairfield County, Connecticut. They are two of the wealthiest counties in the entire US. With that comes people who drive more expensive cars than a house. I've been documenting cars I see around town ever since I was 13, now 25, by taking photos of them, editing the photos so they look nice, and sharing with fellow spotters. Fast forward to 2 days ago, go to McDonald's and there's a brand new light blue Bentley Continental GT sitting in the parking lot, still wearing paper tags from the dealership. I thought, ooh, that's nice, and took pics with my phone. As I took two pics, the owner comes out of the McDonald's screaming, okay, first off, that's a little much, at me for taking photos. This guy was like 75 or so. He started saying, "This is my property. You can't take pics of my property. This is illegal." To which I said, "No, it isn't. No, it isn't. It's in a public setting where everyone can see it." The guy started screaming at me. Okay, the screaming, no matter what happens, the screaming is too much. This guy started screaming at me, getting in my face, started screaming at the other bystanders to call the police because I took photos of his car. Once he did that, I went to the restaurant, bought a soda myself. I I originally went there for and left. The dude got in his Bentley and left as well in a fit of rage. What are my rights here, and was I wrong for this? Last I checked, taking pictures isn't a crime. I know McDonald's is a privately owned business, but it's open for anyone and everyone to use. I didn't take pics of him, I took pictures of his car. Okay, I'm really not too sure. I'm really not too sure on this. We're going to go to the comments. Um, Either way, him yelling was too much. I think if you're in public, it's fine. Because street photography is 100% a thing, and people do it all the time. Um, I mean, I take pictures of people who hired me in public, which is a little different because they know they're being photographed. I take pictures of people at receptions who did not give me permission, but they're attending this private event that is in a public space. You know, it's difficult. Let's see what people say. Uh, Culberson. And by the way, this was a recent post. It was from a month ago. Culberson says, "Of course you were correct, but I do understand how this can be incredibly unsettling, as I've been on the receiving end of this sort of rage. In my experience, all you can do is diffuse the situation as much as possible. It's not worth fighting about or even escalating. Don't let it stop you. Imagine being rich enough to buy a Bentley, but that insecure and uptight over pictures. Pity the fellow and go about your day." That's a good way to look at that. Kind of like the "what is wrong with you?" Excellent condition, excellent underscore condition commented to that comment and said, also, FWIW, I don't know what that means. Just for, I don't know what that means. I really don't. Am I like behind the times on my text lingo? For what it's worth, that's what it means. Also, for what it's worth, just because someone can buy an expensive car doesn't mean they can afford an expensive car. That's true. But yeah, OP can take all the pictures of the car and the owner that they want in a public space, and they can publish them for editorial, journalistic, or artistic purposes. If there's a problem, apologize, placate, and move on. If the photos are worth it, apologize, placate, and keep the pictures and keep taking pictures. It costs nothing to de-escalate and can reduce the risk of a bad outcome. This doesn't mean that people with poor judgment, like those who scream at strangers in public, won't make other poor decisions like starting fights. So it's worth being aware of your surroundings. It can be easy to get tunnel vision when looking through the lens, but it can also be hazardous to your health. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Someone comments, let's see, Rexel99 says, "Imagine being so rich that you tell other people to call the police for you. Fine, call the cops. I'm getting a drink, so I'll be here for a bit, taking public pics in a public space. Your problem, not mine. P.S. Selling pics of a car with logo or trademarked identities can be a potential problem." Hmm. I do know that there are things like that. Um, Mobius Street comments to that specific commenter, says, I don't think that's true either. Trademarks are wholly different than IP law like copyright and patients. Patents. Sorry, I cannot read. They are protected not. Sorry. They're protected not to secure the rights of the company, like a company logo. These laws protect the consumer. A company may file a lawsuit about misusing their trademark, but this. Sorry, I just punched my mic. My apologies. A company may file a lawsuit about misuse of a trademark, but this is because they think that what they're doing will keep customers from coming to them rather than buying something fraudulent. So a photo of a car that shows a Mercedes TriStar or a Ferrari prancing horse is just fine unless the company is being done in a way that could construct the photo itself is a product of that company. That was a little confusing, but I don't think it's a problem because companies put cars in magazines all the time. Like, I know that we have vintage cars, and um, I mean, vintage cars are used in photos all the time. Nobody's caring about it. Um, but we have insurance through Haggerty, and Haggerty sends us a magazine every month, and there's like people's personal stories, like restoring cars and stuff, and it shows logos and all that kind of stuff. Now, maybe they're doing that extra step and saying, like, hey, is it okay if we use this? But I can't imagine with how many photos are in that magazine, them getting permission from the companies for every single photo. I don't know about that. OP says I don't sell my pictures. I have a 9 to 5 outside photography. This is purely for enjoyment. Yeah, so you're probably fine with that. Yeah. Either way, I don't think you're wrong. I think that if the guy had come out and said, "Hey, I'd prefer if you don't take pictures of my car," you should respect that. But he didn't do that. He came out guns a-blazing. Not literally, obviously, but like screaming. That's so inappropriate. Like, what what was he feeling inside? What unjust situation was he feeling to make him want to do that? I don't understand that at all. Okay, so switching threads. This is on r/wedding photography. Use and the person's OP's name is user underscore 467. Increasing restrictions during church weddings. This is from a month ago, by the way. I have photographed weddings for over a decade. Roughly 60% of my weddings take place at a church. Each year, I encounter 1 to 2 churches that have strict rules. Stay in the back, no moving, only one photographer could be on the floor at a time, the other needs to be in the balcony, etc. Which is fine. I respect that. This year, wow. Churches I have photographed for years that allow movement and standard simple policies. Bam. Now massive changes. Very strict now. Anyone else experiencing this? I've only ever experienced this twice in all my years. Um, One of them was kind of a disaster. But it was not on me. It was the couple. It was something with them. Not really a disaster. It was just kind of stressful. I may tell that story at some point. Um, the other one, we knew everything ahead of time. We planned everything accordingly. It was great. Um, let's see. X4DOW, I adhere to them, but when inquiring couple mentions church, I also pre-warn them that many churches are very limiting or even disallowing photography/videography together. The couples are quick to reply, "Oh no, Reverend John is a lovely man," and I'm quick to warn them that they're always lovely to the couples who pay them, a bunch of money to have their ceremony there, but that doesn't prevent them from having restrictive and limiting to suppliers, in particular photo and video. Even give them an example of a um, vicar, VSCAR, that didn't allow me photography. I think it was supposed to say my photography at all during the ceremony. I could just photograph, walk up the aisle, then walking up the aisle, and that was it. Apparently, because ceremonies are religious and not photo shoots or performance, it's disrespectful, but allowed couple's cousin to do singing performance mid-ceremony and made a point of asking the bride and groom to re-kiss 4 times to get his selfie just right with the couple in the background for his Facebook page. That's weird. Several of my clients straight up changed their ceremony location to different churches or no churches at all after finding the vicar was a prick after adhering my advice. Yeah, I mean, I love a church wedding. They are my favorite weddings because they're special. Because I am a Christian, and so there's something a little more special about that. Um, but I don't get the rules. If everyone's being respectful, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Let's see. The Rosie Go says I was seeing a rise in this year too from talking to one of the pastors that I knew fairly well from shooting there a lot. He says a lot of younger photographers are disrespecting sacred spaces, specifically coming up into the sanctuary around the altar. He said it's just simpler to limit them to the back than try to explain which areas are okay and which are not, and having them disrespect mid ceremony. To me, there's no difference in respecting the um, some other kind of wedding that I can't pronounce. There are certain rules that people ignore, and if people ignore them, we all suffer. Huh. Yeah, I guess. I just don't really. I don't know. I don't know. Um, let's see if anybody else. Um, I mean, the pastors I know, I don't think have absolutely any problems with anything like that. But, you know, there definitely are some. My story was a little annoying. I don't think I've told this, so I'll tell my story. So last year I shot a wedding. It was at a local church. This was at a Methodist church. And I had talked to the couple. They did mention the church having some rules about staying in the back. I don't know if there was a limit to how many photos could be taken. Um, but they said that I could be in the front while she's coming down the aisle and stuff. And I was like, okay, I'm generally in the back. It was in the back or on the sides. And I'm like, yeah, that's generally what I do anyways. And then I talked to the couple later and they were like, hey, so we actually talked to some people at the church. And they actually said it was totally fine. That was kind of an old rule that they're not really abiding by anymore. So I can do whatever as long as I'm respectful. Um, and I still tried to adhere to some of those rules. I didn't go maybe as far down. I used my longer lens so I didn't have to get as close, things like that. Well, the day of, there was this coordinator lady. I'm just going to call her the green lady because she had on like a green like outfit. So the green lady was kind of coordinating the ceremony. So she was up there helping guests get in their seats, handing out program things, whatever she was doing. I went up to her. So I talked to the couple. They wanted me to make an announcement about no phones, no cameras, stuff like that during the ceremony. They wanted people to be present, just me taking pictures. So I was like, great. So I went up to the lady. I said, hey, um, are we going to be starting right at, I don't remember what time ceremony was. Let's just say 4 o'clock, because I think that's when it was. Are we going to starting right at 4 o'clock, or do you expect that we'll start a little bit later? And she was like, ceremony starts at 4. So we're starting at 4. And I was like, perfect. Which often, ceremonies will be delayed 5-10 minutes for like late arrivals, to get everybody lined up and stuff. And I said something to her like, can you let me know when you start lining people up for the ceremony so I can make this announcement that the couple asked me to make? And she was like, the ceremony starts at 4. And I was like, okay. So just like a few minutes before the ceremony, like 5 minutes before the ceremony, I went and made the announcement. And that was fine. I went up to her and told her, hey, just like, because this was a big church. I went up to her and said, hey, just letting you know I made the announcement. She was like, I heard you. And I was like, oh, good. I'm glad you could hear me from back here to make sure that everybody heard. Just trying to play it off. Whatever. Okay. I was like, because she was an older lady. I was like, is she just old or is she kind of crabby? Anyways. So, the ceremony starts. Everything's great. We're about halfway through the ceremony. Um, and I'm kind of standing in, so like, say if this is the aisle, because it was a pretty long aisle. So if this is the aisle, I may be standing here. People's probably started sitting, say my fingertips are where the couple are. People probably started sitting about here. So I was standing about here, just standing in the middle, just watching, and there was a balcony above me, and I'm assuming that's where she was. I didn't see her anywhere else. Well, I feel someone come and grab my arm, and I turn around and she's standing there just, and I was like, and she was like, "You're done. You're done." And I was like, one, I felt adrenaline rush through me because when someone like grabs you and is like demanding to you, and I was like, "Excuse me?" She's like, "You have broken our rules. You are done. You're going to sit back here for the rest of the ceremony." And I was like, "No, I'm not going to do that. Can we discuss what's happening?" Because you are not, you have been all over this church, da 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 da. And I was like, "Okay, I got permission to go on the sides, to go halfway down the middle of the aisle, and to be in the front during the ceremony." Um, and I said, also, the couple spoke to someone, I'm not sure who it is, someone at your church that gave them permission for me to get whatever I needed to get. And I have been very respectful. She was like, "No, you are limited to 5 photos during the ceremony, and you have to stay in the back the entire time." And I was like, "I was not informed of these rules. I will adhere to these rules from now on through the rest of the ceremony, but this is not something I was informed of." And she was like, "No." So I had to switch my tactic up a little bit. I was like, "Don't do this to the couple. They obviously, there was some kind of miscommunication. Don't punish them by them not getting the photos that they want of their one and only wedding day." And I was being very sincere. I was like, "Don't do this to the couple." And I was using their names to be more personal, but privacy kind of thing. I mean, it doesn't really matter. They're on my Facebook, they're on my Instagram. But I was like, "Don't do this to the couple. Don't do this to the couple." And she goes, "Fine, stay in the back and don't take a bunch of pictures." And I was like, "Okay." My blood was on fire. So I sat in the back row. Luckily, it was just time that they were doing some speaking, like a little bit of a sermon. So there really wasn't anything to take pictures of. The ring exchange, I kind of hopped into like the middle of the aisle, but back here this time, used my zoom lens, got them, um, kind of scooched over, took the pictures. She was like up here in the balcony, so I don't think she could see me anyways. There's a good chance she could hear my camera, but I don't think she could see me. Took my pictures, I sat back down. When they kissed, I did go closer because, like, shoot, it's over. I got permission. I was told what to do. I don't know if this lady was just super rules, 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 or no one told this lady that the rules had changed. I don't know. But the kiss I definitely wanted to get, but I also wanted to be respectful. So I went back to that halfway point. And then later she came up to me and was like, "You did a great job." And I was like, "Ma'am?" I was just like, "Thank you." Usually I don't go and tell drama to the couples on the day of the wedding. This I did go and tell them just to let them know ahead of time and to apologize to them. I was like, "Did I misunderstand what you said?" And they were like, "Oh my gosh, I cannot believe she did that. I am so sorry that happened. We had no idea." I was also like, "Oh my gosh, what if they heard what was happening?" Because we were talking back here. Like, we didn't go in another room. Like, what if they saw, like, I wanted to explain to them, and she was like, "It's okay." I was like, "I'm sorry, I didn't maybe get as many angles as I typically would." Like, I felt so bad. I just had to talk to them. And she was like, "Hey, it's okay. Like, their rules are ridiculous. We were told that we didn't have to adhere to those rules because they're ridiculous." Yeah, it was just the whole thing. And I was really, really pissed. I was pissed. That's the best way to put it. I was pissed, and there maybe have been some embarrassment being called out like that. There was some like, "Don't grab me." She grabbed me like this, just like grabbed my arm. So like came up behind me, kind of like this, grabbed my arm and was like, "You're done. You're done." And, I was not having that. Uh, hmm, yeah, that's weird to me. So, increase, I don't know. I guess you could say it's an increase because that's the only one wedding I've ever had that happen at, besides a wedding I second shot. But yeah, no, I haven't noticed an increase. But if you have, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, here is a good, it's just kind of a general question. This is an art/wedding photography from PHOUNUS. Phonus? I don't know how you say that. How often do you swap lenses during a wedding? Personally, I swap maybe 1 to 2 times per body. How about you? Why? What reason do you have for swapping? I usually trade um, versatility, so for zooming during the ceremony, for image quality, low light performance primes for the evening. So for me, I usually start with my Nikon D750 on my body with my 24 to 70 with me. That's great for zooming, getting wider angles, which is really good for getting ready. And then we do wedding party, group pictures, stuff like that. During the ceremony, I will toss on my other camera with my 50 on it, and I will shoot like that, or I will throw on my 80 to 200 if I need that zoom. And then after the ceremony, I usually just have my 24 to 70 for family pictures, just still on this camera. My 24 to 70 is what I use 99.99999% of the time for everything. I will sometimes keep my other camera on me with my 50 for portraits, just because it gets a little blurrier background. Um, for the reception, I typically use my 24 to 70 because smaller spaces, I can get more zoom. Um, if I had all the money in the world, I would like to get a 35 and then have my 50 and then have that versatility. But yeah, that's pretty much my go-to. Um, this person says never 80 to 20, 28 to 70 and then 70 to 200, two bodies. Yeah, I get that. Um, when I am dealing with a lot of low light, I will use during the reception. I don't really care about low light because I'm using my flash anyways. So, but during ceremonies, sometimes I'll have like my 24 to 70 on with flash if I were talking about low light. I think Apollo is sleep barking again. I don't know. And then I'll have my 50 on my other one, maybe without the flash, higher ISO, you know, working with that low light a little more. Um, yeah, that's Apollo sleep barking if you can hear him. Oh my gosh. I hope y'all can hear him. So cute. If you couldn't hear him, he's just going like, they win again. He's like, "Boop, boop, 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 boop." Sorry, I'm just like listening for him. It's so cute. Okay. New thread. R/wedding photography. This is from DSLR Sarah obsolete. Something like that. Oh, DSLRs are obsolete. Sorry. There we go. What would you charge for this person's request? Budget wasn't provided. Ignoring comments. I don't know. Okay. Anyways, looking for a photographer who can slash doesn't mind doing, and it's a list. 1. Provide all photos, not just some of the photos taken. 2. Remove my Invisalign as seen in pictures. Oh, talking about maybe ignoring comments like the pictures. Um, 3. Make my arms look skinny. I'll be 3 months postpartum, and it's my biggest thing I don't want to show in pictures. 4. Can make pictures fun and help ensure no one is making super awkward faces. 5. Can help us get pics with everyone in some fun way. 6. Has a good portfolio of different walking down the aisles, um, bubbles, confetti, sparklers, etc. 7. Doesn't cost an arm and a leg. That would be illegal. Sorry, that was a me comment. Because arms and legs, we can't deal with those. That's illegal. You have to take arms and legs off somebody. I think we're on 8. I don't know. I know it's a big ask, but we are on a budget getting married in our yard. I have a horrible memory, so I want to be able to remember through pics. Bonus, they do content creation or affordable small videography clips. So this is not a post I would comment on. I would not put my name in the ring. Um, I don't do a lot of heavy editing. I do editing, but I'm more about capturing the moment. I don't do body morphs. I remove zits. I remove tags, stuff like that. I don't make arms smaller, waist smaller. Um, the Invisalign thing, I don't think that would be too hard. Um, I'm not really too sure. Um, it seems, things like make pictures fun, make sure no one's making awkward faces, help us get pictures with everyone in some way. Some of that feels like it could potentially be nitpicky. Some of that, like, yeah, I do that. Like when we do family pictures and stuff, I make sure everyone looks good. Um, I don't know, make pictures fun. I am efficient. I want to get done so y'all can go and have fun. We have fun with pictures, but the fun is not the pictures. I mean, it is fun. Couples portraits can be fun, but like family and wedding party, I'm like, okay, let's go. Let's get this out of the way with, so we can get back to the main event. Um, but yeah, I don't think I'd be commenting on this. Let's see what people say. East Coast Ganar or Nar something. I don't think I could make a more complete list of red flags if I sat down and tried. Don't accept this gig. It'll be a nightmare no matter how much money they offer. Yeah, I agree. Um, Lost in Space Cream. Removing all evidence of Invisalign on the budget is not a thing. Oh, so maybe it's a little harder than I thought. Or maybe just super tedious. I would just imagine you just like highlight it with generative AI and then take it out. But maybe it's a little more difficult than that. Yeah, I also don't understand like why she can't just not wear them for a day. I was thinking maybe from wearing the Invisalign, maybe there's like a line on her teeth. Um, I don't know. Yeah, everyone is like, do not take this gig. This person, I am the Sam too, says, I would charge an elbow and a knee. So, no arms and legs there. This person, I declined this job, nightmare written all over it. Yeah, and I do see posts like this, and I'm like, next. Thank you. Next. I'm not doing that. No, thank you. All right. Let's see what is next. Okay, here's another thread on r/wedding photography from Dope Stimulation. This was posted about a month ago. What to do? My client wants me to edit my contract for these clauses because this is my first wedding, by the way, so I need advice on how to respond and the best way to handle this. I'm not sure if this is a very important issue on my end. My only concern is that the client may approve for promotion. My only concern is what the client may approve for promotion may not be images I want to use. Okay, we'll get to that. Here is the response after sending the contract off. Contract looks good. So they sent the contract, this is their response. Contract looks good, except I do want to make it clear that my partner and I share the final say on which images you can use in a promotional way. Please revise the following clause to reflect that. See clauses below we don't agree on. Okay, I don't like absolute statements. My like please revise. It should be, is this able to be revised? I just feel like that's like, do this now. May not. I mean, they said please. The contract says waiver the client on behalf of him or herself and any other participants whose image or recording may be captured in the services hereby waive all rights and claims and release photographer from any claim or action of cause, whether known or unknown, relating to the sale, display, licensure, use, exploitation of images, and then ownership of work. Photographer shall own all the rights, titles, interest of and all product all work product client on behalf of itself and any attendees of the wedding hereby grant photographer and any of its service providers an exclusive royalty free worldwide blah 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 can use the photos. What are your thoughts? So personally, I feel like I work different when I can and can't use the photos for my portfolio. When I can't use it, I tend to find that I might not be as inspired to create amazing photos. So I would be more likely to turn that down because I'm excited to share my pictures. And if I can't, yes, I'm happy to be there. And it also depends on how big of a wedding it is because I also like money. Um, I don't know. It feels different to me when I can't share pictures. So, and this is so unoften that it happens. I've had it happen a couple times and I feel the difference. That's just my personal thing. Let's go to the comments. Derry Lang says, we deal with one of these two kind of amendments every year, and I found a send-in that works. I meant the clause to say you'll send them a gallery of photos to disapprove of after photographing. They have X amount of days. We do 10 days to remove images they don't want to use. You'll assume all of them are okay. This way they have selected what you actually want to use, and if they don't get back to you, you can still use them all, putting the responsibility on the client for disapproving. Okay, apologies for my pause. I got a phone call and then I realized my phone was dying. And so, whew, all right, I'm back. What were we even talking about? What was this story? Okay, yes, editing the clause. So Derry Lang says, I deal with one of these two kind of amendments every year. Okay, yes, he found a system telling them they have X amount of dates to say which photos they can't post. Any photos after that is approved. That's really smart. Always give people the option to say options that way. Like, don't be like, oh, just let me know, because people aren't gonna do that because they don't care. You gotta word it in a way that they'll care, so they'll actually do it. So yeah, yeah. Like, I've had my most recent time experiencing something like this. I did it a maternity session, husband, wife, and then they, the bump. Um, the wife said I can post pictures of just her, but any photos of them together, she doesn't. He doesn't want those posted. So I was okay with that because I got to post the majority of them. Because I probably spent more time getting photos of just her than I maybe would in a typical couples maternity session. Um, I don't know, maybe not. Maybe it was a regular amount of time, but I still felt good because I was able to post these pictures and, things like that. So, no, that was good for me. That was a good compromise, I felt like. But yeah, I think I'm going to end this podcast episode here today. Um, I really need to go and do some dishes. So I'm going to go and start the second half of my day. But if you made it this far, comment a snowflake ornament. I mean, not ornament, emoji. I was going to say an ornament emoji, but I don't think that exists. Or does it? I don't know. So comment a snowflake emoji because I know that exists. And comment down below if you have any thoughts, questions. If I seemed at all tired today, sorry, I'm just a little tired. I don't know what's going on. Think I just need to go to bed because I'm tired. But anyways, I will see y'all in the next episode. Bye.